All right, now we're getting into the really good stuff. Countif, sumif, averageif. This is where we're starting to build formulas that really open the door to let us create some really cool, powerful, dynamic things in Excel. So right now we're looking at countif, sumif, and averageif. And I'm going to skip this slide, and I'll tell you why. It's because each of those functions also have a pluralized version. So countifs, sumifs, and averageifs with an s at the end. The only difference is that these functions allow you to do the exact same thing but include multiple criteria instead of just one. And the syntax is kind of different. So rather than teaching you the syntax for the singular versions and then immediately teaching you a different syntax for the pluralized versions, let's just focus on countifs, sumifs, and averageifs, because you can use these versions of the formulas even if you're just using one criteria. But they open the door for you to include additional ones if you choose. So these are kind of the ideal ones to use. I actually haven't used a singular version in, God, I don't even know how long. So let's focus on these for now. And basically, what these do is they allow you to evaluate a count, sum, or average based on multiple conditions or criteria. So syntax-wise, countif basically consists of a combination of criteria ranges and criteria. So you'll see criteria range 1, criteria 1, criteria range 2, criteria 2. And this extends for as many criteria as you want to include. So let's say our criteria that we want to factor into this count is the campaign name. So we want to take the count where the campaign name equals Google, for instance. In that case, the criteria range is going to be whichever column contains my campaign names, and the criteria 1, criteria itself, is going to be Google, in quotes, as a string. Sumifs and averageifs work the same way. There's just one additional piece, and that's right up front. You lead with either your sum range or your average range. So the sum range is the range of actual values that you want to take the sum of, followed by all of your criteria ranges and individual criteria. So I know it's a little bit confusing at first, but I promise once you write a few of these, they'll start to become really, really natural. So let's just kind of slowly take some time to walk through these 3 examples listed here. First off, countifs. So again, we're just listing the criteria ranges followed by the criteria. So my first criteria range is column B. I'm just looking at 13 rows of data, so B2 through B13, which is different tactics, either search or display. In this case, only take the count where B equals search and where D, which is my clicks column, is greater than 200. Now you're probably wondering, hey, that's a numerical filter, why are you putting quotes around it? It's not a string. And I wish I could tell you why that's the case. It's just the case. When you use greater than or less than in a sumif or a countif or an averageif, for some crazy reason you gotta surround it in quotes. Trust me, I tried 1,000 other ways, kept getting errors, didn't know why, and then realized this was how it works. So again, another one of those little nuances that you learn once and then you never forget it. So that's countif. It returns a result of 3 because there are 3 instances where B equals search and the click volume is greater than 200. So sumifs, now I need my sum range first, remember. So I'm indicating, all right, I'm going to sumifs, column D, this is what I want to sum, where column A equals February and column B equals display. So it's going to look at all the rows where both of those cases are true and then take the sum of the clicks column, which is my sum range. Same exact thing with averageifs. So the average range is going to be column D, my clicks again, and I want to average column D when column A equals January and column C equals MSN. So there you go. That's countifs, sumifs, and averageifs. In the next lecture, we're going to talk about putting these into practice to build our first dynamic dashboard. So get pumped.